Hey, hi, 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 The words for this are in the supplement, or those. I didn't say that before to have. All right, so I'm sure there's some around. We can I'll just do the nigun as people grab a supplement. There definitely are supplements out. We'll be doing some chants during this hour, so the supplement will be handy. It's really good to see you all. It's really good that we get to do this. We get to sit together, all in the name of whatever is helpful, whatever helps us in our journey of tshuva, of returning, whatever that looks like and feels like for us this year. So the chant is Ein Od Milvado. It's on page 68 in the middle. I think it's titled something like "There is nothing but divinity," which is what it means. There is nothing but divinity, or that everything is imbued with the sacred. Page 68 in the middle, Ein Od Milvado. Ein Od Milvado, Ein Od Milvado, ay, 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 ay. Ein Od Milvado, Ein Od Milvado, ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 Ein Od Milvado, Ein Od Milvado, ay, 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 Verida, iri, ay, 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 Ein Od Milvado, Ein Od Milvado, ay, 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 Ein Od Milvado, Ein Od Milvado, ay, 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 ay. Hananay, ay, 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 Ein Od Milvado, Ein Od Milvado, ay, 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 ay. Oh, ay, 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 Ein Od Milvado, Ein Od Milvado, ay, 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 ay. Oh, ay, 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 Ein Od Milvado, Ein Od Milvado, ay, 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 ay. Welcome, Shana Tova again. Resting into what is right now. Connecting to our breath. Allowing our attention to rest ever so gently upon it as we inhale and as we exhale. And just seeing with very little effort, not really thinking, just bringing those words in to our awareness that everything is divinity. So maybe just feeling on this next inhale is sacred. This next exhale is sacred. The sound of the Max train is sacred. The laughter is sacred. My hunger is sacred. This yearning I have to love and be loved is so very sacred. The fear I have that I won't be able to in the ways I want to, also sacred. Ein od milvado. So we'll sit for a few minutes, and as our mind wanders, bringing ourselves back to our, just to being here, to our breath, to our bodies, and just seeing if you can gently hold that awareness of the sacredness of everything, every breath, every sensation, every sound. keep sitting as I just want to share a little bit as we go into our next chant. It was occurring to me as I was preparing for today and thinking about the meditation and just some of the teachings that felt alive for me this year. It's Yom Kippur at its origins, as we read from the Torah this morning and what's in the Bible, what's in the Torah, and what was practiced in the temple. It was sort of the culmination of it was this one person, the high priest, who was allowed in on this one day to go into the Holy of Holies, this one place, and say this one name. And it's very kind of sort of distilling down to these singular things. And I think in a sense, and I think this is the offering of how it's evolved over the years. This is not a new thing. I think a lot of what we see in particular in the Hasidic tradition, in a sense, is the opposite. Actually, everything's allowed in. Everything's allowed. It's clearly not about any one person going into any one particular place and saying one particular name, but even more than that, what I mean is sort of what I was trying to name a couple times this morning. Nothing is banished. And again, I want to be really clear. It doesn't mean that we should just be okay with everything in the world, certainly not, or okay with everything in our lives, or okay with everything about who we are. We want to work and change and become the best people we can be, but it's like we can bring that perspective into this moment. Everything is allowed here. And even as we say that, there might be some piece of us that's like, wow, even me? This shame that I'm carrying? This sorrow that I feel? And I feel like Yom Kippur says back, yes, even you. This is all the Kodesh Kodeshim, this is all the Holy of Holies. We are all welcome here. The wholeness of the whole of who we are. And even if that's hard, we can't let some piece in. We can say, okay, I'm not ready to let you in, but I see you, and I'm not gonna fight with you right now. I'm not gonna work to banish you. So I want to chant again a chant we did from this morning, very much in that spirit. Even ma'asu habonim. The stone that the builders refused becomes the cornerstone. It's in the supplement. For those who need the words, it's on page 36 at the top. That stone that you carry around, that you reject again and again, whether it's the cornerstone or not, you can turn to it. Just what if in this moment it's like, I'm not gonna fight with you right now. I'm gonna let you be as you are. Or maybe I see you. Even masu haboni haita lerosh pina. Even masu haboni haita lerosh pina. Even masu habonim haita lerosh pina. Even masu הבונים הייתה לראש פינה, אבן מסו 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 הבונים הייתה לראש פינה. There's a practice that I've been doing lately that I'd like to invite us into that feels like an Evan Ma'asu practice. I hadn't made that connection until today, but it really feels like that. And it's a really simple practice. It involves noticing what is present and saying whatever is present is welcome here. So I might, silently in my mind, note the traffic noise Traffic noise is here. Traffic noise is welcome here. Sound of that cell phone. Sound of the cell phone is welcome here. My breath is here. My breath is welcome here. Discomfort in my knee is here. Discomfort in my knee is welcome here. Nervousness is here. Nervousness is welcome here. Sadness in my chest. Sadness in my chest is welcome here. The idea is simply to notice what is here. And so if that feels like too much and you want to continue just sitting and being with the breath, and by all means, please do whatever works for you right now. But if you are so moved, you can just at whatever pace works for you. It's not like you have to notice, obviously, every single thing, but just noticing what's present. And in particular, when things arise within us that feel difficult, whether that's physically or emotionally, to see if we can, with such gentleness, really say, such and such is welcome here. So we'll sit with that practice for the next few minutes. The last piece I'll say, which I wanted to mention, it's not as if you have to hop around. If there's something that feels really alive within you, in particular something in your heart or in your body, you're in your emotional landscape that is really emerging, you can just be with that and continue to say, for instance, grief is welcome here. Grief is welcome here. Grief is welcome here, and just work with it in that way. We'll chant another one now that's very much in the same spirit. If you're moved to chant, please chant with me. If you want to continue sitting and practicing silently, you can do that. We'll chant this and then we'll go into a bit of a longer silent practice. This is Z-Do-D, which I don't have the page yet. On page 69, Z-Do-D ve-ze-re-i, which actually is that same word re'ah that I was talking about last night. This is my beloved, this is my friend. And it's very much in the same spirit of that practice. Such and such is here, such is welcome here. When we talk about befriending what is difficult, again, we're not talking about liking or wanting it to be that way, but similar to the demon practice from this morning, it's like when we say, I see you. And we can do it with great care and love, knowing that whatever's emerging is probably from a place of real hurt within ourselves or between us and someone else. And so, of course, we need care for that. Like, that's specifically what we need, is that sense of friendship and care. So we can do the same thing, each breath, each sound, each sensation, each emotion, each thought. It's like scattered mind is here. Scattered mind is welcome here. Z-Do-D ve-ze-re-i. 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 Let's do do one more time around. Zadodi Vezerei, 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 Zadodi Vezerei. So we'll sit for a little while longer here. And again, if that practice is working for you, such and such is here, such and such is welcome here, you can do that, or don't have to do it the whole time. Maybe as something in particular, something that's difficult to hold arises, you can use that as a technique. Or maybe just feeling the energy of that Zedodi chant, that sense of friendship, that sense of meeting what is with care, with tenderness, and maybe just sort of basking in the melody and the energy of that. Each time our mind wanders, you can maybe use that as a phrase to return. Zedodi, Vezerei. This too. And we'll sit. page 48. Did I get that page number right? Great. Place within me a pure heart. Lev tahor birali Elohim veruach nachon chadesh b'kirbi. Lev tahor birali Elohim veruach nachon chadesh b'kirbi. Ata shlicheni milfanecha beruach nachon kodshecha. My bad. Al tikach mimeni veruach kodshecha. Al tikach mimeni. Al tikach mimeni. So our final moments here, connecting deep in our hearts to that aspiration for that Lev Tahor. When we can't feel that, we can feel the intention toward it. We can feel the aspiration each of us holds to really live with a Lev Tahor, with a Ruach Nachon, with a willing spirit to meet the needs of the other, to care for those who need us, to extend our love and care and belonging out into the world. We all truly, truly yearn for that. So in our remaining hours of this day and into this year, may we nurture that yearning. May we nurture that yearning with great friendship and great openness and acceptance for all the ways that we fall short, for all the obstacles we face. May we meet them with that quality of Zedodi, you too belong. May our hearts be open to one another, to these lives we're given, to this world. May we know great turning in the year to come toward greater love and care. May it be a blessing for us, for our loved ones, for our community, Klal Yisrael, for all who dwell on earth. Amen. Thanks, friends. Good to be able to do that. Thank you for being here. So we will shift. We have a little 15-minute break here, and YouScore will start right here at 4:30.
as we settle into our seats and ourselves and our silence for Yizkor, please absorb a few moments of music from Joel, and we'll begin together in a few minutes.
Eli, Eli is on page 33 in your handout. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, hachol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat adam, hachol v'hayam, rishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat adam. My God,
these things never end. The sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart, the sand and the sea, the rush of the waters, the crash of the heavens, the prayer of the heart. Eli, Eli, shelo yigamer leolam, hachol ve'ayam, v'yishru shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat Adam, hachol ve'ayam, rishu shel hamayim, berak hashamayim, tfilat Adam.
Shana Tova. I want to welcome us all into this space with a few lines by poet Dane Kettler. And if you have lost this year, if you have known grief newly, if you suffer the ache of old mourning coming back and back and back, then we have made a place for you to mourn. Here, in the middle of the day, inside these walls, a container. As we gather together today, the intention of this space to collectively remember lives lost, I want to share excerpts of a longer poem by Rabbi Gusfield. She highlights the many ways we might grieve, loving and complicated relationships, the way we might yearn to see, to smell, to hear our loved ones again. And in that yearning, the realization that we cannot bring them back, but we can remember and honor them individually and collectively. You can't bring back the dead, but you can live with them inside your feet, your hands, guiding your cooking, your dreaming, your words, singing melodies of comfort so sweetly. You can say their names out loud, name your children after them, make movies about them, wear their socks or pajamas. You can't bring back the dead, but you can ponder your regrets, write them I'm sorry letters, pray for forgiveness, and know that you might be the one of those people that waited too long, just maybe. You can put together intricate photo collages of them in all their ages and glory, when they were sleeping, when they were posing, hoping to smell them again or sit in their lap. You can see them suddenly walking down the street, same gait, same clothes, same bad haircut. You can hear their voices calling to someone. You can't bring them back, but you can learn their Torah passed down from generation to generation. You can't bring them back, but you can remember their lives, each individual life.
Page 49 in the handout.
Limnod Yameinu, Limnod Yameinu, Navi levav chokhma limnod yameinu ken hoda v'navi levav chokhma. Teach us to treasure each day. Teach us to treasure each day, that we may open our hearts to your wisdom. Oh, teach us to treasure each day, that we may open our hearts to your wisdom. Oh, teach us to treasure each day. Treasure each day. Teach us to treasure each day. Treasure each day. Teach us to treasure each day. Limnod yameinu. Limnod yameinu. Limnod yameinu kenoda v'navi levav chokhma. Limnod yameinu kenoda v'navi levav chokhma.
This tradition of Yizkor, saying memorial prayers for those in our family and close inner circle whom we've lost, is difficult for many people, including myself, because the language in most prayer books for Yizkor, the prayers of wishing the souls of the departed peace and joy in wherever they are next, they're difficult for us because the language is unrelentingly sweetness and light. And many of us have more complicated feelings, remembering some we've lost. So I just wanted to, for those of you who feel somewhat left out by the Yizkor prayers or disqualified somehow from saying them because your memories aren't 100% sweet, I want to invite you to feel included, because life is complicated, people are complicated, families are really complicated. All the families in the Torah are really complicated. It's normal to have mixed experiences with people and mixed feelings about them. So please feel included. Jewish time is both circular and linear. The circular part is the repeating cycle of Shabbat, 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 holiday, Shabbat, 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 holiday, 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 Shabbat, Shabbat. Around and around, and 4 times a year, we're invited to say memorial prayers for our departed relatives and dear friends. The same prayers for the same people over and over again. Our circular time brings us around 4 times a year to say Yizkor. Jewish time is also linear and progressive. We believe with great hope that the world can be perfected, that our souls can be perfected. We believe in repair of the world, that we can help. We believe in things getting better in a messianic age when there's peace and enough food for everybody and an end to global warming and all kinds of healing we hope for and believe is possible. So if we take a circle and make it go forward, it becomes a spiral. And every time we come around to Yizkor again and again, we have progressed in insight and understanding and experience. So we are coming around to the same place in the year as a slightly different, more illuminated human being. And we can look at those memories again from a new place. I recently had an experience, I bet many of you have shared, of finding some old family photos. And though I had seen them many times before, from my new place in my life, I had new insights about what was in the photo. I saw things in the relationships between the people in the photo that I'd never seen before, that shed a lot of light for me on my family. So this year and next Yizkor, this Yizkor is twice in the fall as the season changes, and twice in the spring as the season changes at the end of our festivals. So each time you come around to the memories that may be mixed, may be unresolved, may be more bitter than sweet, we are invited to take a look, remember those presences that were significant in our life for, at the moment, or for many years. It may have seemed more negative than positive, but what was the opportunity for learning, for our soul to grow from having known that person? So please feel included, because all of our lives.
Minutes and meditating a little bit on what Barbara talked about around complicated relationships, coming back, circle, finding them healing. We invite you to, as you're sitting and silently reflecting, praying, meditating, whatever you're doing, to name the people that you are honoring and remembering today. Today I'm going to be honoring my father, Dennis. So 5 minutes.
El Malay Rachamim on page 1028 in your Machzor beseeches that the souls of those being remembered be bound among the living, and that they equally dwell with all other departed souls in eternal rest. Whatever your own beliefs about what happens to us after we die, as you hear this prayer chanted, open your heart, feel your own generational bonds of soul connection with those you are remembering today and those in your legacy. El Malay Rachamim Shochen Bamromim Hametzei Menucha Nechona Tahot Kanfeicha Shechina B'ma'alot kedoshim utorim kezohar harkim mazhirim lenishmot yekireinu kedoshenu shelchachu la'olamam. Ana bal harachamim asterim betzel kenafecha leolamim utzror bitzror chaim et nishmatam. Adonai hu nachalatam ve'anuchu v'shalom al mishkavam v'nomar amen. Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 1032. I'd like to ask, before everyone rises, I'd like to ask first for people to rise who are within the first 30 days of mourning. And then those of you who are observing a yahrzeit during this High Holy Day season, please rise. And then for all of the rest of us who are here to honor so many that we are remembering. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayeichon u'vyameichon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah Mivrach Le'olam Alamei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shmei Kudasha Brihu. Le'ela Le'ela Mikol Birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechamata. Damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'akol Israel Ve'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'akol Israel Ve'akol Yoshvei Tevel Ve'imru, Amen. And may the memories of all of your dear departed be a blessing to all whose lives they touched. Please be seated. In a moment, we will read together the traditional words of comfort of Psalm 23, found on page 1033. After we read this psalm in English, Barbara Slater we'll close our service with a setting in Hebrew of this same psalm, and then Joel will give us a kind of musical exhale as we move into Mincha. So Psalm 23, page 1033. Please join me. A psalm of David. The Eternal is my shepherd, I shall never be in need. Amid the choicest grasses does God set me down. God leads me by the calmest waters and restores my soul. God takes me along paths of righteousness in keeping with the honor of God's name. Even should I wander in a valley of the darkest shadows, I will fear no evil. You are with me, God. Your power and support are there to comfort me. You set in front of me a table in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup is overflowing. Surely good and loving kindness will pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall come to dwell inside the house of the Eternal for a length of days.
Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, binot deshe yarbitzeni, al mei menuchot, al mei menuchot, Yinahaleni. Nafshi shovev, shovev, Yancheni v'maglei tzedek, Yancheni v'maglei tzedek, Leman shemo. Gam ki elech begetz hamavet, lo irara ki ata imadi. Shivtecha umishantecha hema yanachamuni. Taruch lefanai, lefanai, shulchan neged zorai, dishanta v'Hashem min roshi, kosi revaya. Aktov v'chesed yirefuni, kol yemei chayai, kol yemei chayai. V'shavti bevit Adonai leorech yamim. Adonai roi lo echsar, Adonai roi lo echsar.
Please turn to page 1038 and rise if you're able.
Let's get you a mic.
Vayahi bin Soa Aharon, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Adonai, Ve'afutu Oiveha, Ve'anusu Misanecha Mipanecha, Ki Mitzion Tetze Torah, Ki Mitzion Tetze Torah, Udvar Adonai, Mirushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Israel, B'Kedushato.
הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד כי חוב השמיים והארץ כי חוב השמיים והארץ לך אדוני הממלכה וימין נעשה לכל רוממו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו והשתחוו לאדום רגליו קדוש הוא רוממו רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו והשתחוו להקדשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו אלך לוי חוסנה ויאנה תתעלם אלך חמדה 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 לוי חוסנה ויאנה תתעלם יאללה ירה 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 יאללה יאללה ירה 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 יאללה ירה 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 יאללה ירה 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 la da da ya 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 da 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 ya ya da ya ya. All right, well, Shana Tova, once again, everybody. We'll have, in just a few minutes, we'll start our reading. Torah reading. We have a few teens who are going to be chanting, and just 3 aliyot. One is going to be a blessing for those who want to receive. One is Aliyah for all teens who are here, and the other is another honor for some of our leaders. But first, before that, Francis Springate is going to come and offer reflection. There you are, Francis. Okay.
Shana Tova. My name is Frances Springate, and I'm 17 years old. I've been a member of the Havurah community since I was in kindergarten, and now I'm a senior in high school, which feels beyond unreal. When Rabbi Benjamin asked me to share a mini drash with you all today, I was honored. But when I saw the theme, my immediate reaction was to laugh a little. Our word of the year is Havurah, and while this word brings up a few different ideas, connection, friendship, attachments, the first word that came to my mind was community. Now, if you've looked at a college application recently, you know how much all of those schools love community. Their community, the community you're a part of, how you'll fit into their community, what you've learned from your communities that you'll bring to their community. You get the idea. With every supplemental essay draft I write about community, the more disconnected from it I feel. How funny and perfectly fitting it is that this year's word, Havurah, is also all about community. I think the college essays bother me because there's no way for me to explain how the communities I'm a part of have shaped me in 650, 300, or even 150 words. Because really, who would we be without our communities? It feels reductive to simplify such an idea into a straightforward anecdote with a definitive beginning, middle, and end. The reality is so much more beautiful and so much more complicated. Our bonds don't only unite us, but shape us. Every friendship, relationship, community, team, group, ensemble, and congregation is nothing short of formative. Havurah has been a pillar of my youth and upbringing. It's brought me not only friends and mentors, but values, beliefs, skills, and knowledge. So, even if my surface level essays about my communities take me to a school far away from Havurah Shalom, I'll never be truly disconnected from it. I'll always take with me the confidence I gained from laning for the first time, or the patience I gained from spending many a Saturday afternoon at Shabbat school. That's the beauty of community. It weaves itself into the very fabric from which we are made. I find this relationship between community and the self deeply comforting, especially as I look to the year ahead, which I know will be filled with new people and new places. But no matter how separated from my communities, my places, my people, my Havurah I feel, I can anchor myself with the understanding that I'll always have them with me. Havurah is not only who we are, where we are, or who we're with, but who we've become. Shana Tova.
Our Torah reading for the afternoon service begins on page 1044. We are in Leviticus chapter 19. And this first aliyah will be a tag team effort. Orion Adolph Siegel and Naomi Granick are going to be chanting. Are they? You guys up here? Yeah, come on up. And we're going to call for this first aliyah leaders from our Poverty and Homelessness Committee. Gloria Halper, Steve Rudman, Marcia Suttenberg, Karen Erdy, Joni Kuttner, Julie Hastings, and Sue Danielson. Please come up for this first Aliyah. I'm sure there are people joining us online as well. Julie's going to represent.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah. Amen.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor. Daber el kol adat b'nei Yisrael. Ve'amarta alehem kedoshim teheyu. Ki kadosh ani Adonai Elohechem. Ish imo ve'avin tira'u. Ve'et shibtotai tishmoru ani Adonai Elohechem. Al tifnu el ha'elilim v'lohe masecha lo ta'asu lachem ani Adonai Elohechem.
Tizbehu Dava Shalamim Ladonai Lirkson Ham Tizbehu Bayom Zivahem Yavahel Umamahot Lahanotar Ad Yom Hashlishi Bayashi Sarech Va'im Hayahol Yayahel Bayom Hashlishi Piul Hu Lo Yiratse Va'ochla Vavono Isa Ki et Kodesh Adonai Hallel Behetraha HaNefesh HaHiv Ma'ameha Uvkutrahem et Katir Tahem Lo Tahadeh Payat Sadha Liksur Veleket Katirha Lo Telaket Daharmaha Lo Tu'ulel Uferet Karmaha Lo Telaket La'ani Velager Ta'azot Otam Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betuheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you for representing, Julie, for all the important work that you all are doing in the community. Thank you. All right, for the second Aliyah, we'd like to invite all, but actually don't go away because we're inviting up all Havurah teens for this second Aliyah. So please, all teens come up for the second Aliyah, and Megan Lowenthal is chanting. Oh, I'm sorry, Megan Rose. I'm so sorry. It does say that on the sheet. I know you. Megan Rose for the second. We will chant the second Aliyah. All right, come on in, guys.
Amen. Lo tignovu, velo techachashu, velo teshakru, ish ba'amito, velo tishaveu, vishmi la shaker, velalita, et Shem Eloheha, ani Adonai. Lo ta'asok et re'aha, velo tigzol, lo talin, Beulat Zahir, itecha ad boker, lo tekalel heresh, velivnei iver, lo titein michshol, ve'areta me Eloheha, ani Adonai.
Someone come in if they're seat. We do it? Yeah. Okay, awesome. All right. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, lechayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu. May the one who blessed our ancestors, generation after generation, bless all of you who have arisen today in honor of this community, in honor of this sacred time. With the blessing, Megan was just chanting all these verses about the ways in which we need to take care of each other and live ethical lives. And my blessing for all of you in the year to come is, may you be kind to one another, and may you surround yourself and be surrounded with people who are kind to you. May you feel seen for exactly who you are. And may Havurah and whichever other communities you're part of be a place where people really see and care for each other. The true, full meaning of the word Havurah, community, not the surface level, but the genuine level where we really feel known. May you feel loved and cared for just for who you are. You are a blessing to this community. May it be a blessing for all of us, for all who dwell on earth. And let us say, amen, amen. Thanks, y'all.
Should they go back to their seats?
All right, this third aliyah, which can be found on page 1045, which Elena Sagazio is going to chant. We have some verses in here about how we use our words, how we use our speech. So whether spoken or written communication, just some way about communication. I wanted to offer, as in the midst of this day still, blessing for kind, clear, and direct speech and or other kinds of communication in the year to come. So as you've been reflecting on Tshuva, some piece of that is how you use your words, how you use communication with others. Please come up for this third aliyah. Do you know where you are? Is your mom watching online? Is she here?
No, she's here. She's here.
Oh, Liz here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, here.
Hey, folks, well, come on in, come on over. Someone with the seat. And Elena, see it? Is that it right there?
Yeah, Lotus.
Yeah, here, keep shuffling on over. People have room. Thank you. It is, totally. There's a few of them. Esty also has it. Oh, and so does David. Yeah. All right, everybody ready? Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu im kol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Lo tasu, aval b'mishpat, lo tisa p'nei dal, velo tedar p'nei gadol, betzedek tishpot amitecha, lo telech rachil be'amecha, lo temor adam recha, ani Adonai, lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha, hoheach tochiach et amitecha, velo tisa alav chet, lo tikom, velo titor et bnei amecha, ve'achavta l'reacha kamocha, ani Adonai.
Yeah, go for it. Come on in. Nice. Take over the team there. That's good.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
May the one who blessed our ancestors bless all of us who have risen today in honor of this community, in honor of Yom Kippur, in honor of our aspirations, of our intentions, of our commitment to use our words more skillfully, more kindly. May we awaken more fully to the power of our words, both how they impact others and also simply how they shape us, how they shape our hearts and our minds, whether we're speaking them or writing them, or even the words that we play over again and again in our heads. And it can be tempting and satisfying sometimes to speak ill or to speak carelessly. So may we be blessed to locate deeper, more genuine satisfaction and delight and connection. May we speak clearly and directly and kindly, planting seeds of greater relationship, greater belonging between us, among us. May it be a blessing for us, for our families, for our loved ones, for each person we encounter, for Klal Yisrael, for all who dwell on earth. And let us say, Amen. And Yasher Koach to our teen laners. We are going to lift and wrap the Torah. So if you are able, please rise. Ta'amod Sarah bat Aryeh Ruvain v'Leah. Ta'amod Chana bat Pali v'Zeleg. Is Anna Mafchir? There you are. It's fine. We're all moving a little slowly at this point of the day, so it's just like, you know. You guys have the back here? We do. Totally. B'nei Yisrael al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yada 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 Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah, hallelujah. Torah, ora, Torah, ora, hallelujah. seated. I will now pass it off to Emily Simon.
So I have this prop for Jonah. Okay, why do I have this prop for Jonah? Are we ready? Yes. All right, all eyes are on me, right? Okay, option number one, is that Jonah getting on the boat? Okay? Or option number two, is this Jonah getting on the boat? All right, how many of you say option number one? All right, how many of you say option number two? Do I hear a two? Do I hear a two? Do I hear a one? Do I hear a two? How about, how many of you say it's neither, and instead that what it is... How many of you say option number three? All right. So what we're going to do now, in a completely different thing than I thought we were going to be doing, because
Me too.
I didn't know that it existed, was if you'll all turn on page 46, we're going to sing together, Jonah Took a Ride. And Stephen here has volunteered in the last, maybe minute and a half to help with singing the song. All right?
When Emily asked me to do something, do I have a choice? That's... Jonah took a ride in a whale, Jonah took a ride in a whale. Inside the whale's belly, it was really smelly. Jonah took a ride in a whale. God said to Jonah, I got work for you to do. Head on down to Nineveh and show them what to do. Jonah said, no, that's not the job for me. He got on board the sailing ship and headed out to sea. Jonah took a ride in a whale, Jonah took a ride in a whale. Inside the whale's belly, it was really smelly. Jonah took a ride in a whale. Jonah tried to hide in the sea on that ship, underneath the stormy sky. The sea began to boil, the boat began to toss. There are some times you cannot hide. There are some times you cannot hide. Everyone now. Jonah took a ride in a whale, Jonah took a ride in a whale. Inside the whale's belly, it was really smelly. Jonah took a ride in a whale. Jonah said, boys, it's time for me to go. He jumped off the rock, Jonah sank down low. He closed his eyes and apologized. Felt himself get sucked down to the whales inside. When Jonah was spit out back on land, took the seaweed from his hair and he plucked all the sand. He walked himself to Nineveh, crossed the county line, did the job in Nineveh just in time. He helped them out in Nineveh and didn't even whine, or maybe a little. Jonah took a ride on a whale, Jonah took a ride in a whale. Jonah took a ride in a whale.
And in the next 20 minutes, we are going to be just like Jonah, take a ride in the whale to avoid any responsibility that we have whatsoever for getting on with the important work of doing deep teshuvah and personal reflection and just have a good time. So, when I had said that, and I said, how many of us think that it was the sneaky way, and you said 3 of us, I mean number 3, which means 3 of us agreed. I had initially thought that I would start this out with a different song, a song that I had written for the occasion. And it has to do with the fact that, and in case anybody wants to check, however, any of my textual references, you can start with the Book of Jonah, which is on page 1049. But if you don't want to check anything and you just want to have a good time, that is fine too. I'm not going to chant anything. So on 1049, it says that he paid for his passage. This is when he's going to Tarshish. By the way, folks, Tarshish is not a real place, okay? We could change the name of that to Hashish and have Stone Jonah, who could have gotten on the boat like this. Okay. But it's not a real place. Our sages tell us it's not. So I thought of this, and I wrote the following very small little ditty for Broadway Jonah. Off we're gonna shuffle, shuffle off to Tarshish. For a nickel and a quarter, we'll be in the captain's quarter with the lights down low. Oh, 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 up we're gonna rise and shuffle off to Tarshish. That's it. So, what do we know about Jonah? And what do we know about him as a character? Now, as you can see, I've been up here sort of playing around with what he's like, but I had a class with some adults, and then I had a class with some teens, and there was some discussion about how old Jonah might have been for his reactions. And one of the common themes was that Jonah was a middle schooler. So, Elise Hill, I'm going to call on you, and I think that perhaps you might have to come up here all the way so that you can do, and we can summarize for everybody, Jonah in a very, very small interaction given to you by Elise Hill, I believe on the other side of this. I think you might need a mic.
Okay.
All right, wait, do you have enough room? None of this is rehearsed.
No, we can.
We got a better one?
Can we do this? Is that on?
Yep. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Good. Terrific. This was also deeply planned, like around 5 minutes before we were here.
I don't want to go. You can't make me. Well, yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. Well, what if I hide? I'm gonna find you.
And then there was David Dropkins. He didn't know that he was going to have to do this either. Slightly either terrified Jonah or paranoid schizophrenic Jonah or some kind of very odd Jonah in response to these words that were coming to Jonah.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to do this? Don't talk to me. No, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that either. I don't care what you say. No, I'm not. No, no, you can't make me. Nope. You can't. No, I'm not doing it. Nope. Nope. Not doing it.
So when you read the book of Jonah, or when you hear the book of Jonah, anybody in the room, and I think there'll even be a microphone for you, does any of this resonate I have one more to sort of throw in the pot for you to think about, which was when one of the teens today said, when I said, well, how old do you think Jonah is? And the young man, who was actually Isaac, to call him out, said that he was 40 years old. So it made me think of midlife crisis Jonah. Here I am, just a regular old prophet. And in fact, I'm not even really that good a prophet, so I'm P-R-O-P-H-E-T instead of P-R-O-F-I-T. And if I screw this up, I really don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why anybody would believe me anyway, because, here I am, and what have I done in my life? So I think what I'll do is I'll take a cruise. That sounds good. And I think I'll take a cruise to some place, well, I don't know, that's sort of completely made up. And I hear that the weather's supposed to be really good, and I could get out of the rain. And since I live in Ashland, I could get out of the smoke. And then I would just be sort of, floating along on the ocean. And then if something happens and I wind up in a whale, well, I've always had a great interest in marine biology, and I've really never been able to pursue that and go back to school because I've been too busy being a prophet. And then after I get done with that, and maybe when I'm going to Nineveh, I've sort of had a great interest in plant life as well. And nobody seems to know what the Yikaron is. You can look at the last page of what I'm talking about if you want to check my textual references. And since there's no good commentary as to if the Yikaron is really a ricinus plant, which is a form of eucalyptus, or if it really is a squash and a gourd, I think then I could probably pursue my interest not in marine biology, I've already done that, but in botany. Yeah, that's right, that's good. I could be a botanist. Yeah, I think I'd like to be a botanist because people don't talk back to you if you're a botanist. That sounds like a good plan. And then if that doesn't work out, there's that worm that comes and destroys the plant. Oh yeah, and then I could be an etymologist. Now wait a minute, is an etymologist the person who studies words, or is that the one who actually studies mosquitoes and bugs? Maybe that's an entomologist. But in any event, it seems like there's a whole world of careers out there that would now be open to me. So yeah, I'm 40 years old, and this is my midlife crisis. Okay. So you got a whole range, a way of looking at Jonah. You got the adolescent Jonah, okay, given to us, not even adolescent, I'd say, even before adolescent, middle school Jonah. You've got David Dropkin's, what? Who? Me? I'm not doing it. You got the 40-year-old, okay, midlife crisis Jonah, all right? And then you got one more Jonah that I'm going to throw in here. And that Jonah is the Jonah who is genuinely terrified. And the reason for why Jonah is genuinely terrified, and this is my political part of this, because you know me, I can't get off this bima without doing my political stuff, is that Jonah was genuinely terrified of doing this, okay? As one of our members in the Teen Drosh group said today, it's a very short line for a prophet to lose their heads. All kings had prophets in Israel, okay? And in fact, where we read about Jonah before is in 2 Kings, okay? All kings had prophets. And prophets, if they didn't prophesize correctly, had a very short lifespan. And Jonah would have known that. So in terms of feeling a sort of more kinder, gentler, understanding feeling of Jonah, his terror really could have been caused by the perils that came with his job. Think Shakespeare, she said, coming from Ashland. Okay. Think about how fast it can change if you prophesize incorrectly about a king. Now, we're getting to the political part. How about if you view it this way? Jonah was very aware. Nineveh, the city that he was going to, was in Assyria. At the time in which this was written, the Assyrians had just gotten done decimating the Jews, completely decimating the 10 tribes and decimating the Jews. And a very good commentary that I wrote, that I didn't write, sorry, that I read, would that I had written it, that I read, was likened Jonah to being a Jew in 1939 Berlin and going and telling the Nazis that our God, the Jewish God, was going to come and destroy them. I don't think that he would have lasted very long in terms of his terror for going to Berlin and for doing that. But Jonah does it. Okay? And what's Jonah's superpower? In addition to being able to hear God, okay, he's able to convince people as he convinced the Ninevites. Now, when you think about this, and we think about the Ninevites turning, okay, the great miracle of Yom Kippur this year, okay, 1939, for the Ninevites, was the Ninevites actually turning, okay? So Jonah, as much as he doesn't want to, appears to actually really make a huge difference in the Ninevites. Okay, our eligible bachelors and non-bachelors are, number 1, okay, which is what Elise did. I'm doing the summary here. Number 1 is middle school Jonah. Okay. Number 2 is David Dropkin's I don't know what Jonah. Okay. Number 3 is my truly terrified Jonah. And number 4 is midlife crisis Jonah. Anybody, before we have a major vote on this for how this is going to end today, okay, is there anybody who would like to speak to any of the individual contestants that we now have these 4 fictional characters? Is there anybody out there who would like to say anything in favor of something that resonates with you in this individualized Jonah, where you can maybe feel a little bit different about Jonah? For all of the women in the audience, by the way, okay, Jonah, the name is a feminine ending. It's not a male ending like Noah. Jonah is considered to be perhaps our very first, and Torah Queries, which is a wonderful book for those of you who want to read about different ways of looking at the Torah, but who say that this is probably our first ability to actually see non-binary human individual in the Torah, and we read about it on Yom Kippur, which makes me very happy for my coming out Jonah, okay? Which I'm sure this was coming out for Jonah, because Jonah didn't want to do it, didn't want to do it, didn't want to do it, didn't want to do it. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable in my own body. I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. Okay, here I am, and not only am I doing it, but look at my success. That's Jonah, not me. Okay, anybody want to say anything at all, or else I'll just stand up here and keep talking. Yes, David Lewis, you want to say something. You've been waiting to say something to me for the last 5 years, apparently. You told me that today. Thank you, Benjamin.
No, you were right about me 5 years ago. I wanted to ask you, though, about the part where he's successful and then he's just pissed off.
Okay, very good question. Why is Jonah pissed off at the end? And worse and more of it, David Lewis, okay? Why does the story end where it ends? We don't know the ending of this story, right? Okay, if anybody has a question about that, look at the end, okay? Where he says, God says, shouldn't I care more about Nineveh? And there's no answer. There's no answer from Jonah, and there's no answer from anybody else. So what happened here, right? Is Jonah so traumatized? Are we so traumatized from reading this story that we can't even answer? Ed, you might want to answer.
Well, that's a rhetorical question from God. So the answer is in the question. But I asked for the mic because I want to advocate for Nebish Noah. The text says absolutely nothing about him. And it's interesting you're exploring, well, who was Noah? But there's nothing there. I mean Jonah. Nebish Jonah.
Well, actually, Ed, wait, I got to stop you right now.
Oh, okay.
Because there is something there. And it's in the first 3 words. It's Yonah ben Amittai. Yonah ben Amittai means Jonah, son of truth. And Yonah ben Amittai is the same Yonah ben Amittai. Wait, there's more. Is the same Yonah ben Amittai who was a prophet at the time of Jeroboam, at the time of the 10 tribes that I described before. Now, that's shot, okay? That is in the Torah, that's in Kings, that's here in Jonah. What's not shot, okay, is that our sages teach us. There's a great line by Maimonides, and in that great line by Maimonides, he says that there are 2 great prophets, and those 2 great prophets are Elijah, which we read about on Passover, okay, and Jonah. Now, what do Elijah and Jonah have to do with each other? Okay, nothing, I hear you say. Incorrect, okay? And anybody who was with me at that class that I took before will tell you that how they connect is that in 1 Kings, there's this story about Elijah. And there's this story about a child who dies, okay? Is this starting to sound familiar to anybody? And Elijah lies on top of that child and breathes life in the child and brings that child back, okay? And then the same story is told about Elisha. So it's a double story with 2 different names. Okay, this is a 1-word answer, and it can be answered in chorus. Who do our sages teach is that child? Who is it? It's Jonah, okay? And Jonah is mentored by Elijah, okay? And Jonah, in terms of being Ben Amittai, only cares, this is the answer to your question, David, only cares about the truth. So just like Elijah was really truth-focused, so is our boy Jonah. And I do mean boy here, because this goes back to Elise's portrayal. Is our sages teach that Jonah got stopped in his development, his arrested development, as it were, to mention a very old-time television show that a couple of people may or may not know, I don't know, that Jonah got stopped in his development and was essentially focused on the truth and only cared about a God that would tell the truth. Did not yet appreciate that a God needs to have Rahmanis, that our God is not just a God of deen, of judgment, of truth, but that our God cares about Rahmanis. And at the end there, that's what God is trying to say to Jonah at the very end. And in case you wonder about the textual support for saying this, is if you look at page, and I said I wasn't going to do anything that wasn't fun, but here we go. If you look at page, I haven't looked at this book, and I am right now. If you look at the page where Jonah is saying to God, God, I knew that you were going to do this. And he says, and actually this is in the middle of page 1059 in English, which is going to be 1060 in the Hebrew, okay? And when you look at this, you will see that Jonah starts saying the 13 attributes of God. You know the thing we always sing? Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Hanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed Va. That word emet, it's totally missing from here. It's because Jonah's mad at God, and he says he's not doing emet. That's your answer, Ed. Okay, is there anything else that I can do? It's 6 o'clock, my time is up. I would do anything else for an encore, and now I'm going to take my vote. Ready? Jonah as a middle schooler. I'm not seeing a lot. Jonah midlife crisis. We've got a couple of votes for midlife crisis. Jonah as David Dropkins. Okay. Do I have any votes for that? Jonah as genuinely terrified. Jonah as great political orator who goes and speaks truth to power, and everybody listens to him, and the Ninevites turn. A couple of people. And on that note, I hope you think a lot about Jonah in the coming year, and as in all of our biblical characters, when Jonah tries to run away, when Eve tries to run away in the garden, when Adam tries to run away, is to know both what you're running away from and what you're running to, and the way in which you're running there. Lishana Tova.
Okay, we are going to return the Torah to the Ark now. Quinn will lead us back through it.
Please turn to page 1066 and rise if you're able.
Did everyone catch that? 1066 and rise if you're able. You want to set the C-door down enough. Yeah.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado, hodo al haaretz v'shamayim, bayarem keren le'amo, tehillah lechol hasidav, livnei Yisrael am karobo. Hallelujah, hallelujah. It's high. Please turn to 1072.
And we're going to put the Torah away, and then we'll face this way. No, you're good. You're doing great. Here you go. Take that. I'll get you a mic.
Eitz hayim hi lemachazikim ba v'tom hecha meusha deraheha darhei noam v'chol nativoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Hadesh Yameinu Hadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
can be seated. And we'll have just a couple minutes of transition time here while the musicians for Ne'ilah come up and get themselves situated. And at some point, the ark is going to be open, and I'm going to invite folks to gather in so we can gather the energy in. So if you want to come up to a closer seat now, you can do that. We in our final hour of this day, our final hour of these 10 days, of this 40 days of tshuva, and we need all the energy we can get. I'm sure I'm not the only hungry, tired person in this room right now. So whatever you can do to help us build the energy, we will just take a couple minutes now. Thanks for bearing with us, everybody. So Ya-da-da, 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 ya. Hi-da, ya-da-da, ya-da-da, ya. Hi-ya, ya-da, ya-da. Hi-da-da-da, ya-da, ya. Hi-ya, ya-da-da-da. Hi-ya, ya, 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 ya. Well, Shana Tova, Gemar Chatima Tova, everyone. Thank you for being here, for being part of this still. I wanted to share just a little bit before we go into Ni'ilah. And I wanted to sneak in one more. I had said, those who were here on Erev Rosh Hashanah heard me share a bunch of Ross Gay and say that I had others that I had to cut, but one more that's been hanging on, and I just wanted to share it now. He writes, "It astonished me sometimes, no often, how every person I get to know, everyone, regardless of everything, by which I mean everything, lives with some profound personal sorrow." This is his book about delight. That everyone, regardless of everything, by which I mean everything, lives with some profound personal sorrow. I find that to be a profoundly meaningful, powerful, comforting, heart-opening offering. We might just, for a moment here, just feel that in the room. Every single person on our right, on our left, in front of us, behind us. And it might be something very clear, grief. I've just lost a very dear person. It might be losing a relationship, divorce, separation. It might be losing work or meaningful work, struggling with addiction, struggling with a loved one who's struggling with addiction, struggling in poverty, any other number of challenges. It might just be, Mom, life isn't working out the way that I wanted it to or I was hoping it to. Something that we each carry that. So what eases that? And many things, thankfully, can ease it, and sometimes nothing can ease it. I had an experience recently that, for me, ties into a lot of what is being shared on today in these holidays, a lot of the connection to our theme of connection and of belonging and of friendship. And it happened in the retreat, which I've referenced a number of times, the meditation retreat. And as I mentioned about the demons, that those first couple days of retreat can be quite challenging sometimes as things arise and things emerge. And I was in a set of very unhealthy thought patterns cycling for me, and feeling very sticky, and stories about myself, and feeling really stuck, actually really being closed down and feeling profoundly isolated. And it can be very lonely. You're not talking to anyone. There's no distractions. And I had a very dear friend who was also on the retreat. We weren't speaking. We just knew we were there. It was really kind of sweet, but we weren't even making eye contact with each other. Just very much in the practice, but knowing that they were there. And I walked into the dining hall early. I'd shared about my experience of going up early at first light and going in and pouring my coffee and going and drinking and out watching the sunrise. And as I walked in to the hall to go and get my coffee, my friend Dev was there pouring their coffee. And it was just their presence. It was just their presence. I felt completely stuck the moment prior, and then I walked in and I saw Dev pouring their coffee, and my heart just cracked open. It was just this way of, without their even knowing it, they had just opened up something for me. They had helped me feel less alone. And I felt that friendship. Such an interesting thing to feel friendship even when nothing is even happening. No one's saying anything. They were just actually making coffee. We didn't even make eye contact with each other. There was a way that it was maybe even like more intimate, knowing that they were there and feeling that trust and trusting as well. They knew that I was there and I could feel in some way that they appreciated. There was this being together, living alongside one another. And I think about that as a model. How can we do that for each other, even when we can't in explicit ways? Have that awareness, have that just mindful presence. I'm there for you. I'm there for you. How do we clear our minds and our hearts enough to be able to do that again and again on a regular basis and trust that others are doing that for us as well? And it doesn't even have to be that good of a friend. I actually had a moment later with this other person, who I just had met a few times before and didn't know that well, and there have been moments I'd turn a corner and see her there, and it was this sense of familiarity and not being alone. And I want to offer that to us, that we find ways to do that. What John O'Donohue writes about the Celtic practice of anamkara, soul friendship. When your affection is kindled, he says, the world of your intellect takes on a new tenderness and compassion when your affection is kindled. Friendship is a creative and subversive force. It claims that intimacy is the secret law of life and universe. Friendship is a creative force, creative and subversive force. It claims that intimacy is the secret law of life and universe. So I offer that blessing to us, friends, as we go into this year, that we may live with that awareness, with that connection to intimacy. May it be the secret law of our lives and of our world. May we, in whatever ways we possibly can, enable one another in the holiest sense of that word. Affirm each other's presence, and may we feel our presence affirmed again and again and again by one another, by our loved ones, by all whom we encounter.
In your handout on page 55, Pitach lanu shah benilat shah ki fanayo hayom yifne hashemesh yavo ve'yifne navo sharecha Petach lanu shah benilat shah ki fanayom hayom yifne hashemesh yavo ve'lifne navo
If you are able, please rise. We turn to page 1146. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר אז אבות ואמות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מסוד חכמים ונבונים, ומלמד דעת מבינים, הבטחה פי בתפילה ובתחנונים, לכלות ולחנן בני מלך מלא רחמים, מוחל וסולח לעוונים. Top of 1148. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וקודמנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, רב להושיע, מוריד אתה, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. מי כמוך אב הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו, לחיים ברחמים, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. Page 1154 at the bottom, the last 3 lines. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיגו לך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיגו לך, ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, כי המלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, וקדוש וקדוש אתה. כי המלך גדול, גדול וקדוש, וקדוש וקדוש אתה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור. So we'll have a few minutes of silence now, our final silent Amidah period of Yom Kippur. Each of us to use this time however we are so moved to use it. If you want to follow the words in the silent Amidah, they start back at 11:18 and we'll go through 11:40. If you want to offer whatever prayer is from your own heart, please do that. Whatever you do, speak from your heart. What you feel still needs to be said during these days. We'll meet back up in a few minutes. The ark will be open for the remainder of the time. I invite folks, if you want to come up and get close and fill this space in here, bring the energy in, that would be most warmly welcomed. So don't be shy. Come on up. Let's fill in these spaces here. Thank you. Rachamana de'ane lani anena.
Page 55.
Page 55. Thank you. 55 at the bottom in the supplement. Rachamana de'ane li'tzevire li'vanena li'vanena Rachamana de'ane li'tzevire li'vanena li'vanena Rachamana de'ane Leave page 33 in the supplement.
Wait a minute, sorry.
Page 1164.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, Nosei Avon V'Fesha, V'Chata'a V'Nakeh, Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed La'alafim, Nosei Avon V'Fesha, V'Chata'a V'Nakeh, Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Apayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet, Notzer Chesed
page 1166. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, salach lanu, mechal lanu, kaper lanu, ki anu amecha v'yata Eloheinu, anu v'anecha v'yata
On page 1168. Da 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 da. Ashamnu bakatnu gazalnu dibanu dofi.
So we are going to offer something here. We're going to join in together for something that is not in the traditional liturgy for Ne'ilah at this point in Yom Kippur, but I always feel it feels so essential for us to really lift up the gratitude at this point, to really lift up the gratitude. And it might be gratitude for ways you were able to look honestly at something that you've caused hurt in the past year. Maybe gratitude for a way your heart has been opened. Maybe gratitude for just feeling connections with people. Perhaps just gratitude for being alive amidst everything else we might be feeling, to lift up the gratitude. To emerge from here with a sense of the muscle of gratitude strengthened as we emerge into this year. So we will be chanting words that can be found in the Machzor back on page 266.
Oh, you knew that.
Just that one line in the transliteration. Ilu finu male shira kayam. And some of you know this. There are 3 parts, and the first part is just the word ilu. So if it all feels like too much, you can just stick with that first part. It's just that word ilu, and we'll start with that. And then we'll go through the second and the third parts. Sarah and Sasha are going to anchor the second part, and I'll anchor the third part, and we'll all just join in wherever it works for us and lift it up.
Do you need a capo?
What's that?
Got it.
In just. So the first part goes like this. Just like that. Let's do just that once more. Just second part goes like this. Shira
join with me on page 1180. The last 3 lines in the Hebrew and the last 3 lines in the transliteration. Yivarechecha Adonai
Page 1182. Sim Shalom Tova Uveracha Cheva Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yisrael Amecha B'Avinu Avinu Lanu Kerecha V'Yoranecha Hagi Baruch atah Adonai Oseh HaShalom. Page 1184. Bottom of 1186. We turn to page 1188. Can you close the ark? You close it? Yitkada v'yitkada shemei rabba.
Amen.
Ve'ama divachirte v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechonu yomechon. V'chayedecho beit Yisrael. B'gala u'bizman kari v'imeru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevarach le'alam. U'amei amaya yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitoma v'yitnaseh v'yitzada v'yitale v'yitalash medekudesha richu v'yela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata damiran v'yalema v'yimeru amen תקבל צלוטון ובאותון לכל בית ישראל קודם אברהם דיבישמיה ואמרו אמן יהי שלום רבה משמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן הוא עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו amen. All right, if you have a shofar, please come on up to the bima. If you are a child or a child at heart, please come up to the bima. Let's all gather around.
Where's the...
Yeah, come on up.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for partnering.
I've already got ideas here already.
Awesome.
Okay, do you want...
the vine, the creator of the fruit of the vine, we say, Borei Pri Hagafen. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu Ruach HaOlam, Borei Pri Hagafen. Ayididai, ay, 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 spices over there. I'm not sure if there are or not. But, you know, the spice is in the air. I think it's just the sweetness of our being together. We say, Borei Minei Visamim. May the sweetness follow us. Whatever bit of sweetness you felt over these days, may that follow you into the beginning of the year. Baruch Atah Adonai, Eloheinu Ruach HaOlam, Borei Minei V'Samim. Thank you. Ayididai, ay, 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 can get close enough to hold your fingernails up and see the light, or see the light reflected in the eyes of a friend, or maybe we just don't see the light with our eyes. We really see the light with our hearts, to feel the light that we are all within us and in our friends and all those around us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam borei meorei ha'ed Ayiridai dai Hamavdil ben kodesh lecho, ben or lechoshen, ben yom hashvi l'sheshet yomei maseh. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamavdil ben kodesh lecho. We give thanks to the one who separates between the holy and the not yet holy. We lift up all the holiness we can as we emerge out of this. We dunk it right in there. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishmi, Shana Tova, everybody. Should we play out with a little Oseh Shalom? Is that? Go for it. We'll play out with some Oseh Shalom, but folks, feel free to sing along. Feel free to mingle. Get where you all are going. Right? What are you in? Five. Right? Oseh Shalom B'Romah, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel, Ve'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Shana Tova.
Shana
The
Tova.
break fast, there is a break fast downstairs happening now. Please go on down.